Rebecca.
Okay. Well, the regular council meeting, Monday, June 9th, 2025 to order. Can I get it? Or can I get an adoption of the agenda? Councilor Whitesell and Councilor Reid. All in favor? Carrie.
The first item is adoption of the minutes. That the minutes from the regular council meeting held May 26, 2025 be adopted.
Can I get a mover and seconder? Councilor Stanbury and Councilor Reid. Any discussion? Go ahead.
Someone was going to let us know what the term fiscal services are.
Oh, sorry, I did not. I will get back to you on that. It's tax time.
Thank you.
Okay. All in favor? Carrie.
Are there questions from the gallery on items on the agenda?
Okay.
Under correspondence, that the letter from Robbie Callan, Minister of Housing and Municipal Affairs regarding small-scale multi-unit housing be received for information.
Can I get a mover and a seconder? Councilor Reid and Councilor Whitesell. Any discussion? Councilor Whitesell. Go ahead, Councilor Reid.
So I'd just like to point out that much of this applies to municipalities over 5,000. Also, at this time, we could never facilitate fire suppression for a 3-story building, as our apparatus isn't quite large enough for that. So just wanted to bring those points forward.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead.
I was wondering how this could apply within Canal Flats, and I'm just wondering how is it that we wouldn't be able to do what they're talking about in here when we're building the attainable housing there? That's, I mean, I guess it's not 3-story, is that why?
Yeah.
Because it's 2-story?
Yeah.
I guess that one would be. So is that like like our volunteer fire department, is it a limitation of that? Or is it literally like flow? What is the exact fire limitation of that?
Well, one of them is we don't have the apparatus to reach the.
Oh, like the ladder. The
Yeah,
actual
we need a
ladder.
ladder part. I think Creston is going through that right now. They built a building that now they need a ladder truck.
Okay.
So that's what we want to avoid.
Gotcha.
Okay, go ahead.
So that particular building, the attainable housing, met the maximum height requirement in the zoning bylaw, which is 32 feet.
Okay.
So that's allowed. Also, as Councillor Reid mentioned, a lot of this does not apply to us because we have a population of under 5,000. When this legislation came down, I reached out to legal to see what we could and could not do, what we had to do. We did have to do a housing needs assessment. We do have to review our zoning and OCP. Those are legislated across the board. But any of the accessory dwellings, secondary suites, we already allow. So we don't really have to change too much in our zoning. Things that are concerning are when we did the zoning bylaw, we wanted accessory dwellings to have a driveway. Under the new legislation, you don't have to, but we don't want to encourage people to be parking on the street. So because we're under 5,000, we don't have to, but that's all stuff that needs to be reviewed. So it is on the to-do list. And
Anything further? All in favor? Carrie.
the next letter, that the letter from Premier David Eby regarding the 2025 UPTM convention be received for information.
I get a mover and a seconder. Councilor Reid and Councilor Marcel. Any discussion? All in favor? Carrie. All opposed?
The next letter is a letter of support. The council authorized that a letter be prepared in support of the Columbia Lake Stewardship Society in their efforts to obtain grant funding.
I get a mover and a seconder. Councilor Whitesell and Councilor Stanbury. Any discussion? Go ahead, Councillor.
I think it's important that we give them the letter of support, given that they do provide us with some data about the lake and the oxygenation and the toxins and everything. So I think it's good to keep that data rolling into us.
Anybody, anything further? All in favor? Carried.
The next item is the Civic Center Revitalization Advisory Committee. That the Canal Flats Civic Center Revitalization Advisory Committee terms of reference be adopted and that Councillor Blank be appointed as the council representative to the committee.
Can I get a mover and a second? Councillor Ernstine, Councillor Fabry. Discussion. I would like to ask Councillor Paul Marcel if he would like to be on the board.
Yes, I would do that.
Okay. Anything further?
Yeah, just, the type of the committee or, Martha, I'd like to add a representative, item 7.2, members to be made up of. I think we need a representative from the seniors group. Or they occupy a large portion of that. And a lot of the work, some of the work that we see that he's worked on would be in their scope, so should be applied. So add a member from seniors.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
Through you to Councillor Marceau, my only concern with that, I don't disagree, but what if nobody wants to be on? And then we'd have to, then you'd be against the terms of reference. So
I actually have a volunteer.
do you have a volunteer? Okay, so, yeah, okay, just if that person leaves. That's my only concern with that, is to be that specific.
Could you make it as an optional member?
Or, oh, yeah, that would be great, okay.
Okay. Anything further? Yeah, go ahead.
For the meetings on this, just wanting to make sure that, we are having committees on this. Is there any requirement usually to have like a public one every now and again, or advertise a public meeting at least for, it's not like an AGM or anything, but should there be anything about public meetings kind of put into these terms of reference?
Yeah, we could do that, yes.
In fact,
Yeah,
I
go
think I think it's stated somewhere in here that they would have a public outreach meetings.
So there was,
Yes, item 5.3.
Okay, perfect, thank you, sorry, I missed that.
Okay. Anything further? All in favor with the amendment? Okay, carried.
The 2025 UBCM conference attendance, that the following members of council be authorized to attend the 2025 UBCM convention to be held in September 2022, 2026 in Victoria.
Okay, can I get a mover and a seconder? Councillor Reid and Councillor Whitesell. Any discussion? So, yeah, go ahead.
Just say I will not be able to attend.
Oh, okay. Okay, go ahead.
I would like to be the person on the list again.
Okay. It is a good opportunity for us to get in front of the ministers to talk to them and try to sway them in helping us. So it is a very good thing to do. I think we got to book our rooms right away though. Is it all right now? Okay. Who else would like to go? Usually the CAO.
No. But usually the mayor
Yeah,
and the council.
okay. All in favor?
Oh, did you? Are you volunteering to?
I will nominate Mayor Doherty to go.
Yes, okay, thank you.
Okay. Yeah, so Doherty and Reed.
Unless you wanted to go with Councillor Stanley.
Thank you.
Didn't think so.
Okay. All in favor? Carried.
And 2025 UPCM conference meetings with provincial ministries and staff. The council directs staff to book the following meetings with provincial ministers or staff at the 2025 UPCM conference.
Okay, can I get a mover or seconder? Councillor Stanbury and Councillor Marcellus. So now we'll try to book meetings with the ministers that we want to talk to. Last time we were unsuccessful with a lot of the meetings we tried to get into. But the year before they were very successful. We had 6,
I attended 9 in total.
9. So it's depending on, yeah, it depends on what you guys want us to, or what ministers you want us to see and what you want us to bring up. Yeah, go ahead.
I think it has to be very specific now, very
Yes.
specific requests on topics. It can't be vague, it can't be too general, or you're not gonna get in. It has to be very specific.
So, yeah, so one of them would be infrastructure and provincials helping smaller communities with that. Yeah, go ahead.
We have a motion that's going to go to the floor of the UBCM.
Yes,
That would be what you want to follow on for sure with the minister.
yeah,
Can we leave it to the mayor and Councillor Reid to bring a list back to the next council meeting of which meetings and why they would like to attend them?
sure.
And we can approve those.
Yeah, that'd be good, yeah.
Let me add
Yeah.
to that, if another counselor has an idea, it could be discussed by me.
Okay. Thank you. I'll go ahead.
So is that then a motion to table or like defer until the next meeting then?
Yeah, we'll bring a list of ministers we'd like to talk to.
Okay.
And if you guys have anything in the meantime, send it over to us and we can put it on the agenda.
Okay,
So does somebody want to defer it, Councilor Marcel?
Yeah.
Sort of moved for that.
Can I get a second?
yeah, second.
Okay, all in favor? Thank you.
The next item, the zoning bylaw, that Village of Canal Flats zoning bylaw number 215, 2019, amendment bylaw number 287, 2025, IT industrial technology zone be read a third time.
Can I get a mover and a second? Councilor Stammer and Councilor Reid. Discussion. Yeah, go ahead, Councilor Reid.
I think there were a lot of very interesting points brought up today. I wanted to ask through the mayor to Ms. Hubanoff, is it possible, or you know, if we were to do the subdivision plan prior to adopting this amendment, is that like a chicken before the egg type of thing? Do we adopt the amendment first and then move towards the subdivision plan, or does somebody spend all that money on a subdivision plan, bring it to you, go through all the motions of that, and then we amend the bylaw for it? It feels like that might be the backwards way of doing it. I think the bylaws kind of got to be in place first before we do the subdivision. Is that right?
Yeah, go ahead, yeah.
Thank you. Yes, I'd like to address a few things as well on the process. So yeah, a subdivision can take years. So if this is approved, if this zoning amendment is approved, the proponent can start building ahead of the subdivision. That would be between them and the property owner. That would not necessarily be us. But if they do want to start construction, they do need a building permit because we have a placement for CCANs, those kinds of things. In order to get a building approved and get a building permit on that industrial land, they will need to get environmental assessment, they will need to address water, and they will need to address sewer. that is part of the building process. So to your point, Councillor Whitesell, waiting for a subdivision here. By the time you get it engineered and get everything approved, and it has to go through land title. So this would actually be easier for the proponent to proceed and know you're not gonna spend all that money and not know that you can use that permitted use on a piece of property. You wanna know if you can do it first before you can subdivide and actually proceed. So, this is sort of the first step. And when I spoke with Mr. Rue, that is what I said. We need to get zoning approval first, otherwise there's no point in proceeding with anything else.
Yeah, go ahead.
I actually know that to be backwards.
Oh.
We subdivided over there. Then we applied for rezoning and a zoning amendment.
Yeah.
Then we built. So we had to buy and take all the risk first before we were even allowed to apply for a permit, bylaw amendment.
So this way it takes the risk out.
This way, it takes the risk out for Brian Fair. So, I'm just saying, like, a small business person like myself had to take the risk on first. And was totally willing to do that, because I know 100% that that's the way it should be. Personally, I see that's a huge lot of land to say that amendment can just be, you can throw a pot anywhere on there. And it's 300 meters everywhere from residential land. If you look at it, the other lands are multi-use, so they're not designated residential primary. So there's no distance requirement there. I guess what's to stop Mr. Fair from selling off large other pieces of that, or even just allowing other people to develop on that property without, like, there's nothing to stop it afterwards, as far as I can tell.
Yeah, go ahead.
Other than possibly getting licensed. So that's the, I don't know how many licensed facilities they will allow within each other.
Do we provide the licensing?
No,
That's not even up to us.
Okay. So what would you suggest we do? You guys?
I personally would suggest the subdivision is in place first. I don't understand why the subdivision wouldn't be in place first. I don't think that the risk should be on the village, to hope that Mr. Fair will act fairly on this and change things later, and allow only that one portion of the lot to be built as a marijuana grow up. When there's nothing tying it to that.
I see we have somebody who would like to speak from the audience. Are you guys willing to allow that to happen?
I'd just like to comment first.
Sure, okay.
I have a real concern about not having the services in place. Who's gonna put, well, the developer will put it in place, but not having a water system there, not having a sewer system for that facility or any other in that compound, fire protection, just, I just have a problem with it being in that subdivided area before development goes in, more development.
Okay.
Now, maybe somebody comes back with the reason, covers all those points, but it is pretty kind of scary that we're putting in businesses and operations, whether they're grow ops or anything else, without having proper service.
Yeah.
And I think it's kind of the cart before the horse. Just that these services are in place before you start putting businesses. And I know subdivisions can be long, hard. I guess if if they came forward with subdivisions, it would be up to council to do it as fast as we could. Get it done. Get that commitment and, worry about that.
Okay, Councilor Reed.
Just wanted to note that, in our bylaw, we can make the 300 meters more than 300 meters. 300 meters was the only number that I had, which was federal. And which is why we went with that last time, but, we can always make it so that it is further back. We can make it so that there's more restriction and more structure. You know, we're not tied to 300 meters. We're in the process right now. We can amend this bylaw. Also, I think I should state, I'm one of the counselors who went and met with, Mr. Rue, and, I toured his property. We spent a couple of hours going through everything, going through a lot of like the smell. So when you actually enter his facility, which he took on as already built and already in place, you know, you walk up, when you're just a few feet from it, you can smell something right by the bench outside. But where we parked, absolutely, you can smell anything. So from in the parking lot, you can't even smell that and you would have zero idea that this actually exists there. I think he's already addressed some with us about, the water runoff collection and things like that. I did note in his speaking earlier, he would have to pay for a minimum of $75,000 for the electric upgrade. Then he's also willing to do the water and everything else. Previous to this, he spoke with us about a security system, fencing, et cetera, So I think that, we can certainly, glean more information from him, but, at this time, I'm not willing to say, denied on these merits, right? So he's willing to, we have some things to work through still, I think.
Okay, go ahead, Councilor Marcel.
Actually, we're not talking about approving the grow up operation.
No.
We're talking about changing the zoning on an industrial property. IT changes what could be done in the IT zoning. And we're talking about the size lots and stuff that haven't been established.
Yeah.
And the fact that this operation is good, bad, or indifferent is irrelevant in what we're talking about as far as the bylaw goes.
Go ahead, Dr. Reed.
But we are talking about the 300 meters in this bylaw. So I think that now is the time, if we're gonna do something, now is the time to amend that. So if we don't want 300 meters, then we need to.
Go ahead, Councilor Royce.
You know, something that was brought up today, related to the fact that we need to, not do anything until our water and our sewer is fixed. And I just want to say, I don't agree with that assessment. You know, when we adopted our strategic plan for this year, one of the things that we said is that we are going to try and make less red tape for businesses to try and come into our village and to operate. And right now, it's the old trope that beggars can't be choosers. And we are having a very hard time attracting any type of new business into this town. And I think that what Councillor Reed has been saying about paying very, very close attention to the amount of meters, we could make it perfectly so that cannabis can't be grown until it's that very back corner lot if we measure it out properly and we survey it properly. I think that I would be for this facility if we did have that restriction in place. And I think that Councillor Reed is correct in that now is the time to do it, before we push that through.
So you want to make an amendment?
I'd like a motion to defer this until the wording is changed, until we have an opportunity to discuss in private as a council as to the amount of meters, you know, what is our residential lot line? What is the closest residential to that back corner lot? So that where it's being proposed right now is actually where it's gonna go, or further back yet.
That conversation can't be in camera.
No, I'm not saying it has to be a camera. I'm saying like, you can tell us via email what that a number is, and we can put that back into
And bring it back to the.
bring it back to the table, absolutely.
So staff research.
Thank you.
I think
Okay.
not only that, I think that council needs to do some more research, all in all, as well. I think that we know a lot of what we want to do, and I think that we should make sure that we check into a lot of there's been a lot of information. I wrote down a bunch of notes, so I'm gonna follow up with everything that we discussed earlier. Well, we didn't discuss, we listened to earlier. And make sure that we are answering all the questions before we proceed.
Yeah, go ahead.
Do you agree with Councillor Weitzel and Councillor Reed? I honestly don't think the business is a terrible business. It seems Philip presented it super well. For myself, it's just, we do need to make water and sewer improvements, and those come from DCCs from developers. Let's get a subdivision so we can get some DCCs from developers. Otherwise, what's to say we're actually gonna get those? There just is no guarantee in this plan whatsoever.
So we should have a mover to defer, but no seconder.
Okay, seconder? Okay. So we have a mover and a seconder to defer. All in favor? Gary. We'll bring it back to the next.
And with that, that's the close, and we're going to adjourn to the in-camera, that the meeting convened to the in-camera for Community Charter Section 91I, receipt of advice that is subject to solicitor privilege.
Yeah, I got a mover and a seconder. Councilor Boyce and Councilor Stanberry. All in favor? Gary. Thanks for coming. Thanks, everybody.
Wondering why I had